Okay. All right. Gina, can we please have a one-word prompt?
Wagon.
Wagon. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Ken, have you heard the Blackhawks news? I feel like a lot of people are going to be jumping on the Blackhawks bandwagon.
Oh, no, I haven't actually. What's going on?
We got the number 1 draft pick.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we got Connor Bedard, the kid that the entire league has been talking about.
Yeah.
So we might actually be good.
Yeah, one player makes it a good team, huh? Hold on one second. Hey, welcome to the Overtalking Podcast with your hosts, Ken and CJ. Say hi, CJ.
Hi, CJ.
This is the show where we talk over TV shows and movies as chosen by our guests. And this week we watched Dickie Roberts' former child star.
Dickie Roberts, former
colon,
child star.
Dickie Roberts' colon, the former child star.
Exactly. Nailed it.
Yes. Do you have a good feeling about the Blackhawks? I mean, I do, but I am also skeptical because, again, one really good player does not make a team. So
correct. I feel better. I don't know if good is the word I would use.
Yeah.
We also got Corey Perry, I believe, who's more of like a veteran player. Okay, getting confirmation from the guest. That's good. Which I think is what we need, like an older guy. We have a ton of young people, so I think we do kind of need more of a like leader figure veteran to whip this 19-year-old in shape. He doesn't need to be whipped in shape. He's incredible. But Ken, should we bring on our guest?
Yeah, please. You want to introduce her?
She's sitting right next to me. We're joined once again by Gina.
Hey, everyone.
Yay.
Gina, how are you feeling about the Blackhawks?
You know, I'm excited because every team who does poorly in any sport says, like, it's a growing season. We're growing. I'm so sick of that nonsense. I'm done growing. Can we just win?
Yeah.
So
I am grown.
Yeah.
I want to be good.
I want, a full United Center. I want fans to feel excited. And also, like, kind of seeing where other sports in Chicago have been. Like, we have such high hopes for Justin Fields coming this upcoming football season. I just want us to like be excited about our city. It's been like such heartbreak for too many years now.
Yeah.
Be excited about one team at least. I would love.
Yeah, one of like 5.
Yeah,
like,
we have a lot.
Right.
That's all.
You think a numbers game alone would make sure that like one of the teams could be decent?
Seriously. And again, I think Justin Fields will do well. I think the Hawks will be exciting. But play a lot of hockey in one season. Anything could happen. So
right.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Everyone's like so pumped that we have Connor Bedard. So at least it'll like bring up the emotions and people are excited. They want to go to the games to see this new kid and everything. So I'm hopeful there. But
yeah,
to your point, Ken, I agree. Like having one amazing player, I don't know if that's going to make the team good or not. But
yeah. I have a question about the draft, the lottery. Is it literally a lottery for who gets first pick? Is it literally just drawn out of a hat, or is there other factors that go into it?
Your season record plays into it, but it's I could be wrong here, but I think it's like of the last 3 or 4 teams in the season, they're the ones that get a chance at getting the number 1 pick.
That's good.
So it's not like, the best team then just gets the number 1 pick because they won. But
which also says things about how the Blackhawks have been. So
yes, exactly. Yeah. We were towards the end of the season hoping we would keep losing so that we could get the
fans were like, play well but don't win.
Yeah, exactly. When we went on my like yearly Hawks away game trip, we were going to those games sort of hoping that we would lose. We wanted it to be like a high-scoring game because that's exciting, but we still wanted to lose.
Gotcha. Which
is a weird thing to want to cheer for when you've traveled to different cities to see your team play.
Also, now the United Center has, a sports betting area. So
yeah, true.
This is the first now for, I think fans who go for hockey, can bet on parlays and teams and how people are going to do.
Yeah.
Which is the first of its season. So I will not be participating. I don't like risk.
Yeah. We got to sit in, it's the FanDuel is
that's what it is.
That's the sponsor. And we got hooked up with that because we have half-season tickets. And that place is cool. That it feels very Vegas-y, though, where there's like floor to ceiling TVs. But then you like go upstairs and come out this special entrance, and the seat, like the physical seats are way better. They're like super comfy. They're like the super nice, like movie theater style, super cushiony.
Nice.
And then people come, you have servers. You don't have to leave your seat to order stuff, which was cool.
Also, Ken, just to fill you in too, when the draft was happening and names and teams were announced, the Blackhawks organization was all in this room. So like TV surrounding them about like who we're going to get. So like the hype there and the sort of media coverage that then spread across social media and everywhere else, like made it look really fun and exciting because like there's our top pick on all these TVs, but it's going to be flooding with fans.
It was a very cool Instagram video to see when it was revealed that we got the number one pick, because everyone knew whoever got the number one pick would pick Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
And everyone exploded. Yeah. So it's exciting.
Very exciting.
Very. Ooh, that's cool. I haven't been to a Blackhawks game in a couple of years, so I guess I'll have to hop on that bandwagon and try to get a ticket. I
went to one March 3rd, 2020.
Oh boy.
It was the coolest game too. Like I had seen the Hawks in like a Stanley Cup final game, but there was a lot of good offense and it was like a throwback jersey day. It just like was a great random weekday home game.
Mm-hmm.
And then sports stopped almost immediately. So it's been a minute.
Yeah, a week after that or something around there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dang.
Well, speaking of things that have stopped, I think a certain child star's career may have ended and been revived. Wow, you like that transition?
I do.
We're going to talk about Dickie Roberts coming up on the Overtalking Podcast.
Of all the celebrated child stars in America, Dickie Roberts was the most famous. Then he turned 6, and everyone stopped caring.
I will do any form of drastic cosmetic surgery to change my appearance, to get a part in your movie.
Dickie, you're a mess. You completely missed out on the basic foundation of adulthood, which is a childhood. For you to research this part, you'd probably have to relive your entire childhood.
I can do that. You're gonna hire a family? Operation Redo Childhood is about to begin. Woohoo!
And we're back on the Overtalking Podcast, joined by returning guest Gina, and we're talking about Dickie Roberts' former child star. Gina, we are going to put 30 seconds on the clock for you to describe for someone who's never heard or seen the movie Dickie Roberts' Former Child Star, which may be a decent number of people, what it's all about.
Ready, go.
This is a film starring David Spade, who is a former child star of the 70s and career in Hollywood has just really plateaued, if not tanked, in present day.
Ouch.
And now is trying to revive himself and make a name for himself again in Hollywood with the hopes of landing a really important role in a really upcoming film. But to do so, he kind of has to backtrack and find out what his childhood could have been and live that normalcy that he missed growing up.
4.
I'll give myself those seconds to just say, hey.
And
What's
time.
Okay, that's accurate. Why did you choose this movie?
So I thought about this more, but this is a film that, like, I don't know how people feel about phrasing things as guilty pleasure, but for a while, that's how I, like, kind of, I don't know. That was me. This was a guilty pleasure. I would die on this hill of, like, it's a great guilty pleasure movie. But it was also the first DVD that I bought that was PG-13, where I was actually 13. So
Nice.
I could go to Borders and spend my money and buy this DVD. But also, it did horrible in theaters. Like, it was not great. And because I had the DVD, I was able to watch it, burn it through, and I just thought it was really funny. It could not be made today. I don't think it would just be like, who decided this was a good waste of, like, I don't know, organization dollars. What studio said yes to this? But it is a Happy Madison production. So giving you insight that, like, Adam Sandler had some downtime and said, here's Spade, make a movie. But also, I don't think anything like this is sort of made now in sort of like the kitschy quality that it is. And it's like 2003. So, you know, David Spade was doing very well. And you see like actual names of people that like were notable child stars in the movie as sort of like a nod to that. But also the premise is ridiculous. Like essentially he's going to rent a family to kind of revisit a childhood he did not have, to land a role that would give him a sense of adulthood. And it's all these weird nuances, but who would just like put out in Craigslist nowadays, like, need a family, here's 20 grand, let me live in your home. It's not a thing. You don't do that.
You definitely get to see the whole Sandler crew like pop up in various points. But I also think it's interesting. This is a Happy Madison production, like you said, and yet like Billy Madison, kind of the same premise. Like
totally.
He goes and relives his childhood.
Right. Yes.
It's like very similar.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
even like how it's meant to be sort of like a E! True Hollywood story, which those have come and gone. Like I don't see any of those anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You hear this narration, and then it cuts to present day, and then towards the end, it goes back to like, oh, now we're caught up, and like, life has turned around. Spoiler, but no, I could quote this movie. It's really bad. Just verbatim. I know the script.
The E! True Hollywood wraparound, I had totally forgotten about by the end.
Yeah.
So
By
when the
the end of the
voiceover
movie,
comes back, I just didn't understand what was happening until they wrapped it up and so now you're caught up on.
Oh yeah.
Oh right. Okay. Yeah.
It's not a great sandwich of like, didn't you remember from the beginning? We're like flashing back, and now we're
that
here.
this is supposed to be an E! True Hollywood story, even though it's just a movie.
Yep. Yep.
It's a long E! True Hollywood story.
I guess.
Like
for sure.
It's a TV special.
Sure.
Jumping to the ending, since we're talking about it, I do love that. Like, so the family he lived with, it's a happy ending. He turns down the big movie to go back and spend time with them.
Mm-hmm.
But then what got me was like, then they make a show about his redemption story, and the kids work on the show. Sam is a joke writer, they say, this little like 10-year-old boy or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the daughter is a choreographer for the show. He's probably like 6, 7, 8 years old. Something.
It kind of undoes everything that they had tried to do in the
100%.
movie. Like, because
they're like,
are employing children to be basically child stars.
Yeah. And then
and he got the fame that he wanted anyway. So
Right.
I don't know.
No, it all worked in some weird way, and
Yeah.
it again doesn't happen ever.
Yeah, they're like, hey, family in real life is more important than Hollywood, but we're going to take the family and make sure they are involved in Hollywood for the rest of their lives.
I know.
Right, and that these children suffer the same issues that he did growing up. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do like that this sort of like nuclear family of 4 in like the suburbs of California, like take him in, and the mom is like, what the heck, husband? Like, you can't just rent this strange former actor. And the dad's like, no, we're in it for the money. He could help me with my own business and advertisement. And the kids are like, no, like, we're children in this house. We don't want to share our space with this strange person. And David Spade is so just like above and beyond weird and quirky, and like wears gloves as an adult. Like that's a kind of like a, I don't know, like a tick that he's just had now as an adult. He doesn't take his gloves off. But then they come to warm up to him, and he helps them out with like a school cheerleading audition, and someone stand ups to the bullies, and he has a soft spot for just like humanity. Like these kids mean a lot to him over time, but you don't kind of know the stretch of time either. It isn't like, it's clearly just warm and sunny out. Like at no point is it like, it's not Christmas, it's not anything. It could just been like a week. It could have been 2 months.
Yeah.
So,
that's true. Yeah.
Time is irrelevant in this sort of stretch of like, how is he learning to find himself outside of fame? Yeah.
I was kind of hoping the kids would beat him up when he stood up for Sam, the little boy. I was like, oh, here comes like, he's trying to stand up, but knowing his luck, they're going to beat up a grown man.
Yeah. Or like he's trying to learn how to ride a bike with all the neighborhood kids watching him and cheering him on, and it's failing miserably. He's like riding over cars and getting hit by a truck. And,
they really put that stunt person to task on that montage.
So, I don't know. I could go on and on. Where do you want to take it? Oh, I'll say this too. Part of why I really like this movie, again, it's a nod to like child stars, is that we take this fictional character, Dickie Roberts, and put him in a poker playing game with actual child star actors.
Yeah, that was
like
cool.
Leif Garrett, Dustin Diamond, they've passed, but Corey Feldman's still kind of relevant even to present day. But
isn't Corey Feldman playing like Riot Fest this year or something like that?
His band is there. He's on the bill. Like his name is on the bill.
That's wild.
So things like that. But even like Danny Bonaducci from the Partridge Family and Barry Williams from the Brady Bunch, like those are iconic childhood stars. And then you put in David Spade's character, who's just like, I miss this. Like, I miss having the fame and, like, limousines and parties. And then they're all like, well, hopefully you get this role, man. We're cheering for you. But, like, kind of sad to also see, like, they're all getting together to, like, reminisce and, like, wish their lives were how they were as kids.
And making, like, $1 bets as, like, a big, like, and the Brady Bunch guy is using old props to make wagers because he doesn't have money.
I liked that.
It's so great. Or even towards the very, very end where they all these child stars come together for this like we are the world moment and sing a made up song. Or even if they're not child stars, it's like Mrs. Brady and Mrs. Cunningham are like kicking it off. But then you see like Marsha Brady and like Corey Haim and all these other figures who like probably have many whom have died. But yeah, you look back and you're like, oh, that was like tugging at my heartstrings because I remember those child actors. But hey, part of it is also like, we love being child stars on your television, but like, stop bothering us.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of the theme of that ending song.
Yeah. Stop asking us where our co-stars are.
Right.
Like we're full grown adults.
Yeah. So I don't know. I always like that it's coming back to that, or that, you know, Rob Reiner is in the film and he plays himself as this director who's going to make this big Hollywood budget film, and he needs to cast the lead. And that's where Dickie Roberts is like, it's me, like, just tell me how to do it. Which is great because Rob Reiner, like, has a great history of directing or being an actor or being a producer. But, like, when he is himself in some of those moments, I'm like, yeah, you're not trying very hard to, like, convince this Dickie Roberts character that all he has to do is, like, figure out his childhood or figure out how to, like, go from being an adult back into, like, this childhood form to then be normal. And he also, like, shows up again in the end where he's, like, in the hospital because of Dickie's job, where he's a valet driver and, like, takes his car and, like, runs amok, and then he gets in trouble for it. I don't know. It's nice. It's good to say, like, oh, he still got the audition at some point, and then Rob cast him.
Yeah.
Like,
He has the audition in the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Because that's where Rob Reiner is helping in the hospital bed.
Right. Or casting John Lovitz as Dickie's agent.
I love John Lovitz.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
Jealous.
Yeah. I can't get you this interview, but I can get you on a Limidate. Like, things like that. But then he ends up giving his kidney to Rob Reiner in the hospital. And that's how the audition goes.
Yeah, it was nice of him.
What a generous man.
Yeah. It's so haywire. There's a lot of moving plot. Even, like, at the beginning of the film, Dickie Roberts has this, like, truly bitch of a girlfriend, Alyssa Milano, which is great. Like, she's just, like, this pathetic man was once famous, so I'll, like, hang out with him and date him. But really his life isn't going anywhere, and then kind of, like, picks back up again when he's getting a little bit more notoriety towards the end of the film, and it just, like, doesn't work out for either of them in the end. But another great face for that time to, like, be in a film and, like, be a love interest. So,
what was the spin-off show she got? Like the bitch
who didn't know she was a bitch.
I was like, Jesus. They do use the bitch word quite a lot in this movie.
She was like the cover of like the TV Guide for that like clip.
What an honor.
Yeah.
TV Guide cover.
I know.
One of my favorite things that I learned from this movie is a scene between her and David Spade, and David Spade's trying to open a bottle of champagne, and he already has it open, but he makes the popping sound with his mouth and then chucks the cork at her head. So good.
Yeah.
Love it.
And she does it later on because we learn that she runs off with the dad of the family who rents Dickie Roberts, and she just like makes the pop sound and whips the bottle at him, which is so funny because that pop motion, I can't do that.
Yeah,
I can't either.
I did think it was like, yes, obviously we want to show that like the dad should be punished for running away from the family, but like as far as I could tell, he had a decently successful job at like a car lot, and then we cut to him and he has like a valet name tag, and it was like, what? But you had a job, like what happened there? No. Like you can date somebody else, but then
I guess when running away with her was literally running away.
Yeah, they like literally left town.
Yeah, they were like seen in a motel, like just with an ice bucket and the champagne. And
the motel I get kicked out of his home, but I was just like, oh, and you lost your job too. Okay, really down on his luck. But that's what you get.
Yeah, that's what you get.
That's right.
A lot of moving parts with all the characters, really, because they're all going through something. But I don't know. I mean, the daughter Sally of the family, like she just wants to make the cheerleading team, but like the slutty junior high girl who's super popular, she might get the spot. Or like
that
Sam.
Was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, but that song was so hot back in the day. You're like singing it along as a 12-year-old. It was so inappropriate, but it's even more inappropriate to like audition in front of your teachers for a cheerleading role. And then here comes Sally dancing to Ride Like the Wind, which is a great song from the 70s. And it makes sense why Dickie keeps referring back to it throughout the film. But that's a solid routine. Like that tells me like you practiced. You didn't just roll around on the gym floor crawling towards the table of judges.
Dickie Roberts' character saying slut after this like 12-year-old is like, ugh.
Yikes. Can we talk about the music in this movie? Because the
Sure.
soundtrack is
Really
actually really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Ride Like the Wind, but they also have, I don't know, Blink 182 and
Yes.
Good Charlotte.
Yeah, Good Charlotte.
Was there a Mighty Mighty Boston song? I feel like I caught a.
During poker. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Was that them?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I caught a whiff of ska during that scene.
Or who sings "Just My Imagination"? Just my imagination.
The Temptations.
Okay, Temptations.
Apparently, Corey Feldman had a song on the soundtrack called Negativity, which I don't know which one that was, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
I
It's
had no idea this guy's got like a rock career or whatever.
Yeah.
No, it is a good soundtrack. And you're right. It played to like things from the past, but also like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
Yep, very
Was
appropriate.
right on par, and same with Blink. And it just kind of like depended on what was happening. So we're learning how to ride a bicycle. That feels like a good Blink moment. Or we're driving away on Hollywood Boulevard because we're valeting cars. That's Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. And yeah,
Own that CD. Good Charlotte had the physical copy.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
pretty cool.
I remember at someone's bar or bat mitzvah, the DJ was asking like trivia questions to hand out prizes, and I got one right because I could name, I think, 3 Good Charlotte songs or something like that. Don't remember what the prize was or if it was just for fun or whatever. But
sure.
yeah, that's stuck in my brain forever. I think it was at not Maggiano's. Maggiano's? Is that the Italian restaurant?
Yeah.
Yep. It was there.
It's a chain. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It was on the upstairs.
It was on the upstairs.
That's how big
Away
this
from
place
the
was.
restaurant, so
Yeah,
no one could hear the
exactly,
Good Charlotte. Makes sense.
Good times.
Cool.
Dang.
Any other songs jump out at you, Ken?
Flagpole Sitta.
That was
Yeah,
great. Yep.
yeah.
Singing
The
along
kind
to
of like
that.
redemption resolution arc
Yeah.
of the film, Act 5. Yeah,
When did this movie come out?
2003, summer of 03.
That makes sense. Yep. Okay.
Which again, I was 12, turning 13, but I still bought the DVD. What a rebel! Don't tell my mom.
At a Best Buy or some
Borders.
sort? Borders.
It was at a Borders. Yeah.
I don't think I knew they had DVDs.
Oh man, yeah, because I had bought them out of all their CDs. So my next move was DVDs.
You were the one keeping them in business.
I was, yeah. Even kept them in business while they were going out of business because I visited every week when the sales were going up and up and up. So
Yeah.
when things were like 90% off, I'm like, ooh, do I need this like entire book like shelving unit? No, I can't fit it in a car.
But it's $5, so might as well.
Yeah.
I know.
Break it down. Yeah.
I miss Borders, and Barnes and Nobles is everywhere, going out of business too, and
Yeah.
it's sad. We're all part of the Bezos conglomerate. We're just buying things on the
then-
internet.
Ironically, at least the one that I'm aware of, the closest Amazon bookstore went out of business as well. Or
No-
they
oh,
like,
on
closed.
Southport.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I,
fun.
Oh, did
I
they?
frequented
Yeah.
there
Oh.
too.
Huh.
Which sort of good riddance, but I thought that was interesting. It's like, yeah, don't you guys have like a bajillion dollars?
Yeah,
Right.
and that store was pretty reliable because it sold I
Yeah.
mean, it was books and it was like just like kitschy stuff or like
And then it
just
had the
random tchotchkes, but
Starbucks inside.
yeah, other electronics.
Yeah.
Were people only returning stuff there? Maybe no one was actually buying anything from there.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, I can just buy this online and have
Well,
it
that
shipped to me.
was the gimmick. Was I would go there to return something, and then when you went in person, you got a discount. Like they were like, "Hey, thanks
Right.
for returning this. Here's like a 10% off coupon if you use it like now." It's like, oh, okay. So as you've caught me in the store, and now I'm incentivized to buy something while I'm here.
Yeah.
Well, they do the same at their what are their grocery store chain? Fresh, Amazon
sounds
Fresh
right, yeah.
stores, I think. You can return stuff there as well, and then you get a 10% discount on
wow.
whatever you buy in the store. Which I've never shopped there, and I
No, me
only
neither.
return stuff there, but it's weird.
There's just another weird store that I like. I get why it's there, but not really. Is on that same street. It's a Capital One like cafe.
Oh yeah, no, that's common. I lived by one years ago when I was in Gold Coast, and you could like anyone off the street could just work there, take care of their Wi-Fi, and like I worked on research projects, but then I would drink their coffee and then leave, and I was not a Capital One card holder. So
Yeah, it's
I came off the street because it was down from my apartment.
yeah.
Interesting.
It just is. It's this like massive shop. And I was just like, again, why are these like credit card companies opening cafes? I know why, because they want people to sign up for credit cards while they're there,
Sure.
because then they get like some sort of discount or whatever. But it's just like, this seems weird, and I don't like it.
Interesting technique, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not what
And of
I
all the
would've thought
places
of.
to get coffee, I mean, this was cheap. It was like $1 coffee. It just
Oh, wow.
That's because it was nothing coffee. If I wanted quality, I'd not go there.
Yeah.
But
They're just
Right.
using like Keurig pods or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, or just some generic off-brand. It could be Folders. I don't know, but like
Yeah.
it wasn't anything to write home about. It was just cheap and nearly free.
Just don't. I want a real coffee shop there. I don't need these giant corporations to be
Yeah.
opening to expand their like business horizon and open these weird offshoots.
Well, it sounds like you two are ready for some trivia.
Great.
Should we get
yes.
to it?
Yeah.
Let's.
It's time for... Hey, did you know that? That's right. For new listeners, this is the trivia portion of our show where we pit our guests and CJ head-to-head to say who knows the most about what we watched. Gina, CJ, are you two ready?
Yes.
Ready.
Okay. Real extensive list of trivia questions available for this movie. All of one. So, are you
No.
ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Apparently, not a lot of people have dug into the history of this movie or have anything fun to say
Understandable.
about it. But there's one thing. So here we go. First person to just shout out the correct answer gets the point. Which toy featured in this movie was used without permission and promoted the company Whammo to sue Paramount Pictures?
Is it the slip and slide?
I was gonna say the farm, the animal noise one.
It is the slip and slide.
Dang.
Correct.
Yeah. Again, part of like him recreating a childhood. He's just going through all the toys.
Yeah.
Like they deal with like the water wiggle, flower, sprinkler, and the slip and slide. And
Yeah.
oh man,
I love that that's like copyrighted when it's just like a tarp. They're like, well, no, it's
Yeah,
our product.
I
It's a
know.
slip and slide. It's like
I don't
it's
even recall.
it's a tarp.
Do they say brand name? Not a sponsor. Slip and slide.
I think
Like,
they do. Yeah.
They say slip and slide specifically. Yeah.
Oops.
So if they just said like the slide and slip, then they would have been fine.
Sure.
Probably.
or just like we put water on it and you slide down. Like
Yeah.
Right, it's a
describe
tarp.
the action of it. Yeah.
It's a slippery
Interesting.
tarp. It's for outside. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't surprise me at all that the lone trivia question that was a great one, but no one's writing in to be like, here's more.
You know, I dissected this movie, and no.
God, no. There's nothing
all
to
right.
dissect.
So
It is what it is.
that's right. We have the standard questions at the end here. So, CJ, you do have a chance to tie it up if you want.
Great.
What is the Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter score in percentage? Closest without going over. Gina, since you're in the lead, you will go first.
Oh my God. 48.
Ooh.
Okay.
48%. Yep.
I'm gonna say it's lower than that, so I will go with $1.
That is correct, CJ. Wow.
Yes. It's so
yeah.
hard.
It
Price
is
is Right
significantly
percentage.
lower than that. It is 22% on Rotten Tomatoes.
See, I'm so generous because it like lives in my heart for so many special reasons.
Yeah.
But I knew it could not have been above 50. I'm like, absolutely not. Because like
Right.
10 people on Earth have watched this movie, and we're 3 of them.
Yeah.
So
Man, is it just anything below a percentage is splat? They don't get to into like this is a splat that's also been run over by a car. It's like that bad.
Right.
Like
it's
a truck is
starting to
backed up
smell
under
a
it.
little bit. It's
Yeah.
got flies going around it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They should
no,
have
just
that.
the 2 tiers.
I'll
I don't
write
know
in
what
the
the
Rotten
cutoff
Tomatoes.
is. Yeah.
no, that's appropriate. Critics did well. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
It's not a great movie.
Not winning awards.
No.
Yeah, probably not.
But again,
I
I,
mean,
also
it
don't
didn't,
think
so.
I don't think you could make it even now and have it be taken seriously by a studio to be like, we
Yeah.
love this storyline, go for it. Like it just would not fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There really aren't that many sort of these types of like feel good, or I guess I should say try at feel good movies.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
about
or
us
even
like,
Goofy, right? Like
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
an
was gonna
adult
say.
trying to be a child in a home. Like that's it. Kind of feels like Clifford a little bit, but except
Sure. I'll
not
take it.
actually pretending to be a child. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he just
Because
they've
it's also
committed
not
to him.
slapstick. We're not like falling
Right.
over being
Yeah.
so like just buffoonery. It's just this person is trying to be taken seriously, but this family is like, who even are you? Like the fact that they're like, we don't even recognize you from way back when or what could be now, kind of says to like, yeah, the internet was just kind of up and coming then too. How would you know who this person is? He took out an ad in the classifieds. Like that's
Yeah.
how people got their information.
Yeah.
Oh, what a time!
Yeah.
I would love to see maybe something with current or I should say former child stars now kind of do what the two of you are doing, where they're like on podcasts and they're like exclusively talking about their careers as children or like what has happened to other child stars, which I love. Like I enjoy kind of like listening into those like bites, but
I imagine it would go dark quick, but
it does.
yeah, I'm sure it would be
It does.
fascinating.
No, it totally does. It's folks from the Disney Channel. It's folks from like just growing up in the 90s. The Lawrence brothers, like Joey and Matthew and Andrew Lawrence, who were part of my growing up, they have their own because they're brothers, so they're all on the same one. The cast of Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
Plenty of other folks. I don't know. I'm all about it because they're dishing it out.
Yeah.
Their NDAs are expired. Like, it's fine. But no, I think something like that, if it were to become a film, it'd be like some dark documentary about like the child from Mrs. Doubtfire and the other children from the School of Rock all got together and talked about their experience. Like, it would just be some very truly like dark and discoverable information of like, whoa, you went through that before you got this project and your parents were this and they took your money and the Olsen sisters are crazy. Like, just whatever comes to light, it would
All
just be
of that
very dark.
before they're like 16 years old or whatever.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I think they should have better labor laws around childs working on sets and stuff. But they're all on strike right now anyway.
They sure are.
Yeah, things may change.
Yeah.
Who knows? Was Brendan Fraser a
Yes.
child star? He was?
Sorry, not a child. Like a mid-teens star.
Right.
Fraser.
Right.
And
is it Fraser
he's also featured in the
Fraser.
He's featured in
It is
this
Fraser?
movie.
His correction in this movie is true. That's actually how you say it. That was a real. That's like him playing himself in that scene.
But like
he says it rhymes with razor. That's how you say it.
But people still say it wrong to this day.
100%. Yeah.
Yep.
Huh. Okay. I've seen interviews with him where they have introduced him as Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah, but the
Wow,
public is so
okay.
ignorant that we're like,
I think-
our ears want to say Frasier.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun to make that mouth
Right.
feel.
I assume if I were him, I probably would have given up too. Just like, fine, just say it however. I don't care anymore.
Oh, but he does correct Dickie in the movie because they have like this quick run-in, and then he sets him up with like the contact at Rob Reiner's office.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh my gosh, what did you think coming into this Lamaze class that you would find other celebrities?" Like, but here he is with his wife, like trying to go through a Lamaze class and like just network a little bit. But then he's like, "Oh my God, Brendan Fraser coming through," and then he just cuts him off. It's Fraser.
Yeah.
And then Dickie's like, "Oh,
That's real.
It is Fraser."
Yeah, and Dickie, I think, even says like, "Why do people say it that way?" I think I mentioned it maybe on the show before, but highly recommend YouTubing Adam Sandler and Brendan Fraser interviewing each other for like Variety or something.
Actors
it's
on
really cool.
actors.
Yeah, it's great. And that's how I learned in that video. They take like a minute for him to explain like, no, everyone says it this way, but this is how you say it. And he says like the word razor, it rhymes with razor. Brendan Fraser.
Has anyone on your show, speaking of Brendan and Adam, have you covered Airheads?
No, I don't think we have.
No,
this is my like Batman call to the world. Someone watch Airheads and talk about it with the boys because what a fun movie that is always on VH1. Steve Buscemi, yes, and who's Spinal Tap? Michael.
Sheehan?
Maybe.
Is that right?
I'm
just
sure.
the DJ, like the house DJ who won't play their music and they like hold him hostage.
Yeah.
But oh man, that film's so great too.
Well, next time you're on, let's do that.
If no one else claims it, I will.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'd watch that.
Well, listen, guys, you guys are tied, so we have to break this tie. All right. So, what is the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes in percentage? And to make this fair, I'm not sure because Gina, I don't think you have my number. So
we just say it on the count of 3 or something.
We can.
Or CJ, you text me yours, and then Gina, you can just say yours
way.
out loud after he texts.
Okay.
That works.
Yeah.
Again, I think fewer audience members saw this than critics. So I have to weigh that math in.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Okay, well your text is going through the ether. I will say I said 48, I'm going to say 38.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
And CJ,
I said 40.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Ken?
Well, it's 46. So CJ's our winner.
Sorry.
You both
Don't
are
be sorry.
Very close to each other, though.
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, I'm glad I kind of, again, the math of like no one saw this movie, so they probably
Sure.
ranked it really low.
Yeah.
I feel like, one of these days we need to look into like when did Rotten Tomatoes become a thing too,
Oh.
and like how many
Yeah,
people are
and-
then going back and
Right. Are they
stuff.
retroactively adding, reviews to it? Like, are critics?
Probably.
Because like, there's old movies on there, right? Like, are new critics reviewing these, or are they also including old scores?
Also, how are you? I'm naive. How do you become like someone verified as a critic? Like, and do I just have a Rotten
Yeah, I
Tomatoes
don't know.
account, and then I can just give a vote as like Joe Schmo? Or
I have no idea.
Yeah, I assume it's similar to like some like Twitter blue check verification where you're like, hey, I work at the LA Times
Sure.
or whatever, and I'm this
Yeah.
critic or something.
okay,
Well, I think it might be time for our ratings then. Gina, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate Dickie Roberts' former child star for you?
oh, this is a comfortable 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
6. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What,
That's good to hear.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Usually people pick something that they like is their guilty pleasure, right? And then they come on
Yeah.
and they give it a 10. But yeah, why is this your guilty pleasure, but it's not a 10 for you?
Well, because there are others, but also because it's come to a point where if I'm doing something, I'm cleaning, I'm just like milling around my home, like this could be on and I don't have to pay attention to it. It's just like the noise that I hear. But also like I know it's just a comfortable go-to, so I give it a 6. Because it's not the one I gravitate towards immediately either. Like it's just on my list, but it tugs at my heartstrings from way back when, and I bring it up to friends like a lot. And I'm glad I chose it for this because, like, again, I feel like it could have been on like How Did This Get Made with Paul Scheer and his crew, because like I could see how it could have been made. It wasn't so awful that it's a Fast and Furious 12 or whatever they're on. Like, how do they keep going?
Hey.
I know.
Now you're
I
speaking
know.
our language.
Watch
I
it.
know. But all that to say, I really like this movie for what it was way back when, and like now when I think back of like, oh, this could not have been done now, or like, how did they get away with that line? Or again, by the end of the film, how are the children of the movie working in Hollywood? So it's a 6. I like it a lot, but like I can only recommend it to so many people before I'm like, don't judge me for it. It's a 6.
Nice. Okay, good. I'm glad it's a nice, realistic.
It is. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If I had said 9, your viewers and listeners would have been like, "Who is this moron? Like, what is she doing?" So no.
Yeah, we only rate Fast and Furious. Those types of scores, but yeah.
That's right. Those are reserved for that.
It's fine.
I think I might go next.
Sure.
All right.
All right. For me, I'm coming in from a place where
You don't like David Spade.
I don't like David Spade. That's exactly what
Oh,
was
I
gonna
wish
say.
you would have said that from the beginning, but I sort of love that you said it right now towards that.
Yeah.
Gonna drop that.
I never know how to approach these because I don't want the guests to feel like they're putting me out or anything because they're not. I still like watching movies, but yeah, I don't like David Spade. So having that said, and it being all David Spade and a not great story.
Yeah.
The couple things that I did like, maybe let me start there. I liked the child star song at the end because you got to see a bunch of people you don't get to see in a while. And I like that Brendan Fraser was in it. So
Cool.
I give it 1 star on Rotten Tomatoes. On Letterboxd. So 2 for here. For
Nice.
me.
Great. That's so funny because this is also like David Spade's era where he just did like The Emperor's New Groove. So he's still like out of this like Chris Farley era because Chris had passed. And then like the next thing he did that's notable was like Grown Ups. And then like the Hotel Transylvania series. Oh yeah, he's not in a lot. He just does like
a big
Comedy
gap.
Central roasts and just filler really. So it's understandable if you don't like David Spade because he's so unlikable in this movie. You almost don't want to root for him at all until you're like, oh, he's turning around. But no, that's completely respectable. I get it.
Cool. All right,
that's
Steve,
2.
what do you think?
For me, just to give David Spade some credit, he was the comedian that came up with the 90s called and they want their whatever back. That's him.
Oh, wow.
Just so you know, Ken.
Okay.
Comedic icon.
That's cool.
But yeah, I don't think he's done much. He's come out with some stand-up specials still. But
Right.
yeah, he's mainly part of the Sandler crew and is just in those movies and stuff. Yeah, this was fine. There weren't parts that I like actively hated or anything. It was a I think decently average movie, product of its time, but not in that like surprisingly not a ton of problematic stuff that I'm usually like ready for any movie that's older than like 10 years old or something.
Yeah, they're not calling out a certain like audience of people or demographic.
Yes. No. Yeah, not picking on minorities or anything like that. No slurs for the most part, I don't think.
Correct.
So that was good.
Slut is like the worst thing, really. Yeah.
Slut, and they use bitch a ton, but whatever. Sure. It's not a perfect movie. I think I'm going to go with like a 4. I think it's just like just a run of the mill.
For sure.
This is fine.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the end credits. The song was pretty funny. I think that's one of the best parts.
Oh, it's so great. And I love where they like kind of highlight like where they're from, and you're like, oh yeah, these are shows that like my parents probably watched.
Yeah.
But,
like would not recognize most of them anymore. Or like, I did laugh out loud when they said Sam writes jokes on the show. I thought that was funny that they have this like little boy and he writes jokes.
They clearly have like their headshots, like their child headshots. They write jokes. And Sally was the world's youngest choreographer for the studio. Whatever. And it's like all she choreographed was like this like
the same dance.
This like chant routine from
I do have a fun fact about that. That was just something she was doing on set. And the director liked it, and he put it in the movie twice, apparently.
Get out. Do you know where she is now?
No, I don't.
Have either of you watched the series Atypical?
I've heard of it. I have not seen it.
Okay, she's a supporting character now on that series, and like all I see is Sally though. Like she works.
Does she do the routine?
No, I don't think so. But she a lot of her scenes on the show are with the lead character, who is autistic, and it's just all I see is Sally, and Sally is great. But until I watched that show, I never thought like, where is she now? Which is so True Hollywood Stories. Like, where are they now?
Yeah, you should
and I'm
want
like,
to know.
Oh, you're still in show business. Like, that's crazy. So
I hope she turned out normal. So she is technically a child star.
She was a child star, yeah.
She was.
What is the... Ken, could you look up, what is Sam from? He's in like so many other... I recognize him.
Oh, I could tell you. He is young Daredevil. Ben Affleck's Daredevil. I think.
Young Daredevil.
Like, when he's like newly blind. I think.
Oh, whoa.
Sorry if anyone hasn't seen Daredevil. He's a blind superhero.
I can't remember a single thing from Ben Affleck's version.
That's fine. It also came out from that time, though. So if you were to look it up, or anyone wants to keep me honest, like I'm pretty sure that's him.
So CJ, what you're thinking of is Motocrossed. He was in Motocrossed.
Wow. Wait. That absolutely is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Wow.
The sister who cuts her hair, or the brother?
The brother.
The brother.
Yeah. Wow.
That is some great like intuition right there.
You knew exactly.
You knew. No, sorry.
He hasn't been in much, but I was like, this
Disney
has to be
star.
right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Again, another movie I haven't thought about.
Yeah, geez.
Since that time. That's a great decom. Motocrossed.
Yeah. Great work.
All right. Well, I think it's time to wrap it up. So, Gina, thank you for joining us.
Thank you both. I'm glad to be back. Again, anyone who wants to see Dickie Roberts, it's on Paramount, but I also have it on DVD if you want to borrow it.
Yeah. They'll just stop by your house.
That's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
There we go. Cool. CJ, what do we have to plug?
You can follow us on all the things at Overtalking Pod. As of this record, we're newly on TikTok.
That's right.
Which I'm just going to be posting the same thing that I do on Instagram, but over on there.
Listen, that's all Instagram Reels is anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So. That's what it's there for.
Are you guys going to have a TikTok routine for your listeners to do?
Sure are not. No,
absolutely not.
It's going to be snippets of this.
Snippets
What we should do is like pick something from whatever movie or TV show we watched and like act it out. And what it would be for this is the little dance that the girl does. Yeah.
Ken, you're more than welcome to do that. I will be happy to post that if you want to record that.
I'm sure you would.
Follow us on at Overtalking Pod on all the things. Email us like Actor Wayne Knight did at overtalkingpod@gmail.com. Go to our website, overtalkingpod.party. Type in the word Gina to find our previous episodes.
Oh, that's me.
And the Overtalking Overlords are here, guys. Oh, no. They are, of course, our ghastly, otherworldly landlords who show up at the end of every episode to remind you if you like to help us go on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and rate and review. Do it. No one has reviewed yet. Come on.
So aggressive.
It's not
Write
hard.
the word some bitch.
Write the word some bitch on a review.
It's a good thing. Being a some bitch is a good thing.
That's right.
That's what The Rock says.
Some bitch.
Also, spread the word and tell a friend. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you. And they're gone. And as we always say at the end of every episode, this is Nothing Butts. Bye.
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 This episode of the Overtalking Podcast was produced by Ken and CJ, edited by CJ. This week's special guest was Gina Ciametti. Music by Justin Peters. Logo by Nate Richards. Check out Nate's work on Instagram at Nate Richards Designs.